as we fade back in, we go past the alley where we still see Mike fighting, but from our perspective, we can tell that it's hidden behind an illusion. We go back into the twists and turns of the area that William finds himself in. The older druggie is breathing heavily on the floor, and he's making his way towards the edge when the same edge and corner where he had just seen something go by very fast. You get to the corner, you kind of look down one hall, and it just goes down and it seems to stop. And you see maybe 2 or 3 other hallways that seem to jut around. The smoke has stopped kind of spinning and begins to just hang there, causing your eyes to water. And you just start to notice that there's almost talking to a point. It's very quiet. It could be just the sound of wind. But yes, what would you like to do, William? Now that you've made your way past the druggie towards the edge of another corner, another hallway.
Let's see here. I don't know anything about these mazes.
Don't
I
know.
wonder.
Do you want to
Yeah, let's
investigate?
do an investigate roll here.
Okay. So you're kind of using your historical knowledge, I would say. Basically trying to figure out what you know. Yeah.
I'm gonna use my history teacher knowledge and
I remember reading that one book that one time.
maybe the or.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's investigate.
All right. So you get 2 questions to ask about these places.
All right. Are the mazes designed in any particular way to get like to the center? Like, is there any kind of...
No. The mazes are kept to keep things from escaping, not for finding a specific point.
I know what's in the maze, don't I?
I mean,
Like
based off of Calvin's description, you've heard of Greek history. Like, yeah, you absolutely have probably heard about minotaurs and labyrinths before.
So I'm going to assume it's a minotaur. Do I know any way to call the minotaur?
You would know you don't need to call the minotaur. The minotaur already knows you're here.
Alright. That's all I needed to know. Now I'm just going to start banging on the wall again.
So I'm going to actually ask you a question.
Sure.
If you could be anywhere right now, where would William be?
Not here, probably. Maybe teaching.
Okay. As you begin to bang on the walls, you hear the sound of more banging, crying, crawling out, the weird growling sounds of the area. And you just continue to wander and wander, every hall going back and forth. You're kind of careful to avoid. And that's when you notice that at the far end, it's very vague. It's hidden behind the fog. You see the metal almost begin to twist in front of you, almost begin to morph. And you see a shape stand at the far end. It's dark. It seems to be a man, maybe 6 foot tall, But you can just see him in shadow. The metal around it seems unnatural.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to do?
I'm gonna wave.
You see him almost bow down, kind of like a Japanese culture. Begin to bow their head towards you.
Yeah, sure, I'll bow. Yeah. I'll do a deeper bow. Probably his house.
As you bow, you notice that the dirt underneath you begins to rumble, begins to shake. As you look up, this man is running at you in full speed. He has long, dark brown hair, a plump face, dark black eyes. He's just staring at you, unblinking. His chest is completely bare. It has like a barrel, just large and round. It's marked with scratches and almost claw marks from fingernails all around it. As he's getting closer and closer to you, he's running at a great, powerful speed. The walls seem to almost ripple around him as he moves. The ground shakes, and as he gets even closer, you can see the smoke around his head begins to almost form as if he has horns above his head. He is charging you. What do you want to do?
Mm-hmm. That's what we're gonna do? We're gonna fight today? Is that what's happening? Sure, yeah, I can do that. I can, Sure, I'm gonna stand my ground. Who wants to come at me? He's gonna come at me. I'm gonna then grab him when he gets close enough.
Okay. I'm trying to go toe to toe. That sounds good to me.
We're gonna use Ultimate Fighter, Indomitable, predict the foe's next move. But we're probably also gonna use Aggressive Behavior.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna defend myself, but now I've been challenged. I'm gonna have to be angry.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Oh, and that
I'm going to
leveled up
say that your mental trip definitely
Oh, yay.
plays a part in this.
No bonuses.
And also, I'm going to say the dense smoke gives you a bit of difficulty being able to judge how far or how fast you might be moving.
Mm-hmm. 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 Even with a -1.
Okay.
Got a 7.
So, which one of those are you going to choose? You're going to just try to get out of the way?
I'm gonna... I don't want to dodge completely. But... Yeah, I kind of want to grab his arm and like swing around him.
Okay. He begins to charge at you. You reach out and you grab his arm. It feels large. Imagine, the Popeye kind of forearm, just thick, covered in brown hair and slick, kind of sweat and oils. You go to grab to swing around him, and the sheer strength he seems to carry seems to rip your hand away, and he continues running around, coming to a stop, turning around and kind of looking at you, breathing deep. The smoke swells around him, and he looks towards you. We fade back into the alley. Mike, you're on the ground, and for a moment you feel like the ground shakes beneath you. But then you feel the actual shaking of the bodyguard that you're now laying on top of, as it appears he's trying to reach for something to try to get you off of him. What do you want to do? You have your katana in one hand, and you're laying on top of him.
I don't think he's here yet.
Oh dear. Well, in that case, Blanche, you're there. You're focused. Your hand was out to reach. You just blew this smoke. You can tell that there's an illusion in the air. It almost flickers from your perspective. And you see the two constables come to the edge of the alley. They look. For a moment, you hold your breath, as it seems that they look directly at you. But then they look around a bit more. Take a moment to study it. Look towards each other. Still seem to be a bit confused. Sally, it seems there's something going on here. Neither of them step past the border. They go over towards the edge of the warehouse, which is on the other side of Mather Industries. One of them leans up against it and reaches into his coat, pulls out a smoke, puts it in his mouth, begins to light it. The other one seems to have a conversation. You can almost overhear. I'm going to head back to the station. Just stay here and keep an eye up. Kind of nod, and the second one heads down. The first one just sits there and takes a long drag of his cigarette. Kind of blows into the air. The wind carries it up and away. Seems he's just going to stand there for a bit. As he takes a lean against the warehouse, you can feel the earth kind of tremble for a moment beneath your feet. You turn around, you see that there's a small metal shed. Seems to have a door, and underneath that door, a bit of smoke. White, great smoke. It's coming out of the far bottom. Past that, you see Mike with his katana laying on top of this bodyguard that appears to be struggling, but it seems for the moment he has at least that individual contained. What would you like to do?
So the metal shed wasn't there before?
No, it's always been there.
Okay.
You just have had a moment to recognize it. More important, like you see the smoke, I think, is the main draw.
I would like to use that second illusion tag.
Okay.
I want to make it sound to the constable guys like there was another gunshot, but like a block down in the opposite direction.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, you can go ahead and create that other tag as a shot rings out, 2 or 3 blocks away. The constable takes a moment, hears it, throws a cigarette down and begins to just run down the street and take a sigh of relief. So he begins to head that way.
Okay, and then I'm gonna head over towards where Mike is struggling with the guy, and I think Mike is back now, So
yes, Mike, you are on top of this bodyguard, this large individual, and for a moment you feel like the earth is shaking, but then you just realize it's really just this man underneath you who's trying to reach for something to get you off of him. You have your katana in your hand. What do you want to do?
So he's still struggling?
Yeah, he's underneath you. Like, you just cut the gun in half, but you can tell, like, he now wants you off of him.
I'm gonna basically kind of just roll to my feet. And just be real big and imposing and just kind of point down the alley.
Okay. Yeah, sounds like you're trying to convince him, trying to threaten him to leave the scene. That's kind of what I'm getting here.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, definitely add his daze too. Again, he's gonna see you much larger, much more scary than you actually are, on top of any other tags you think are relevant.
Could I do like an astral physical kind of like just a slight projection where it just kind of seems like I'm like vibrating and menacing?
Sure, absolutely.
You vibrate.
Pulling like a Dr. Manhattan type thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Convince or change the
Yeah,
game?
this is a convince. You're trying to threaten him to leave.
Okay.
Basically, your threat is either leave or I will destroy you kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, tier 3 status. The target can choose either to take the status or given a little Yeah, I don't think, especially since he doesn't have backup here, I don't see him wanting to be destroyed. I think he's going to take the option to leave. Um, he
Bow out
begin
and report to his boss.
he begins to kind of back away, scrambling. His hands starting to slip a bit in the mud as he gets kind of closer to the river. And as he gets far enough away, he just turns and tries to get up. And he's running, he's stumbling. He falls to his knees every once in a while. But after a few moments, you see him kind of turn down one of the other factories, his hand up against the wall, keeping him steady. And you lose him from sight. You turn around and yeah, there's a bit of a weird haze, at the very front of the alley, where this illusion is. I don't know why my computer is beeping, but you see Blanche kind of standing near you. What would you both like to do at this point?
We should get going, yes?
Yeah.
Do people frequently shoot at you? Is this going to be a habit?
I mean, it's not the first time I've been shot.
Noted. Alright, let's go. And I'm gonna pull the ball of yarn out of my bag.
Okay. Go ahead and give yourself a story tag.
Okay.
If you haven't already. I can't remember if we did
I
that
didn't.
before.
And I'm going to head over to the door.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to open it, but not go inside, because I want to tie the yarn off to the handle.
Okay.
On the inside of it,
Yeah. So you begin to open this metal door a bit. As you do, you feel like this warm sensation, almost like warm water beginning to flow over your feet. You look down and there's smoke that has almost filled this room that has begun to pour out. It smells vaguely like perfumes and incense, but there's a thick metallic kind of aftertaste to it. You look down, there's maybe 3 or 4 steps that lead into what could be considered a cellar. The bottom is just dirt, and the room itself seems to be kind of built into the side of the foundation of the industries as well. Whatever was here doesn't appear to be here anymore. On the far left wall, you see a bit of metal siding, and a portion of it has been kind of fashioned into a hidden door that has now been opened. Past that door, you see thick smoke. Orange light plays amongst it, kind of bouncing around. You can see what appears to be light coming from both sides of the door. The room itself that you're about to step into has smoke that maybe goes up to about your knees, but looking inside the room, it seems like the smoke is from completely floor to ceiling. You go and you tie the knot around the edge of the door. Do you plan on closing the door behind you or leaving it open?
I'm tying it around the door knob on the inside. But yeah, I'm once we're both in, I'll close it behind us.
Okay.
I don't know how long that illusion's gonna hold up.
You begin to tie the note, or tie the knot, and as we see you preparing to make your way inside, we go back into the labyrinth. William, you've just been charged by this man. Try to get a grab of him, but it seems, well, he seems quite strong. Again, the walls around him appear to almost bounce and ripple. If you remember the scene from The Matrix when he first kind of gets his power, it kind of has that look.
Mm-hmm.
He looks at you for a moment and kind of turns his head. You are not one of my users. What has brought you to my land?
I gotta say, this stuff's great, whatever this is. MacLeod's outside murdering me in shadows and whatnot. I could do without, but this stuff's great. But I think I'm here for the people with the stuff growing out of their eyes. Yeah, I think.
You're
I don't know, it's
here
all blurry.
for supply. I have one that already deals with my supply. I do not think I need another.
No. I'm here to stop it. Yeah, that's it.
Why would
I'm
you want
looking-
to stop something that you yourself says is so wonderful? Do you not think the entire world needs a taste of pure joy and bliss? Have you not seen
no.
it to its full potential?
Look here. I'm looking for a boy, and I want to stop the drugs, and that's all I remember.
A boy.
The boy.
Many boys have come to be my soil. They have volunteered for their, well, part in this beauty, this reckoning.
Shinbone took him. You know, the domino, the domino kid. God, this stuff really messes with your head. Dominic. Yeah, that's it.
He looks very strangely at you. A sly kind of grin appears. He reaches down into one of his pockets on these kind of ripped overalls that he has. He pulls out a small, it's like canister. I think you'll need some more.
No, not Dominic.
And he throws it at you.
No, we found Dominic. That's right. I don't want that. I'm good. The other boy.
The canister goes and hits against the wall, and as it does, a large plume of smoke emits from it. It seems to be a bit darker, a bit more gray. And as the smoke kind of blocks your view of him for a moment, you just hear him laughing. Yes, you need more, friend, to see the true potential of what it is we have here. Please, please face some danger to avoid the influence of even more smoke.
Sure. Because this
Yeah.
is always going well. We'll go with Indomitable and maybe super speed to dodge it.
Yeah. Mental trip will be a negative again. You're in his
It always
house, playing by his rules.
So face danger. Hey, screw your drugs.
You are able to kind of move quickly back as this gray smoke kind of hits against the wall and begins to fall. You see him look at you. He hasn't seen you necessarily move at this great speed before. Kind of chuckles. Don't want to try it then?
I'm remembering why I'm here.
All right.
No.
Try to keep up. And he turns and he begins to run down the hallway.
Well, I guess I'll chase him.
You begin to run after him, and we fade back to the side entrance. Mike, you see Blanche is preparing to tie some string to the front door and then close the door behind her. Do you have anything you want to do before you head into the basement that, again, about knee level in smoke right now?
Other than kind of tightening the bandana over my face, I'll just kind of grab hold of this string and follow her in.
All right. Is there anything you tell her before you go in?
Don't breathe.
No, not really.
Okay. So you both begin to make your way into this area. As you get down the stairs, the smoke begins to feel thick as you breathe it in. The bit of sweetness seems to hang kind of at the top of your mouth, while this metal taste hangs at the back of your throat like you have a bloody nose that just won't cease. You find yourself standing, kind of looking at the walls. You prepare to close the door, and the light begins to fade from outside, and the light from within the door past you with all the thick smoke begins to grow a bit brighter. Blanche, this is your first time down in the smoke. What do you want to do?
I would like to try to summon up just a little bit of like moving air around my face to try and keep it away from my nose and mouth as much as possible.
Okay.
And I can aid that by like pulling out a fan that was fairly common for women to carry. So.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. Yeah, this definitely sounds like a change the game then to create kind of a magical rebreather of sorts.
Okay. That's. I think the only ones I have are Woman of Her Time and Cast Magic Spells.
Okay.
That fit into that.
The rolls are going great tonight.
Right?
No, that's still okay. So you can create a let's see. So this one you're trying to affect yourself, right? You're not trying to spread it out to any other people.
I mean, it was mostly for me.
Okay. So in that case, go ahead and give yourself a tier 2 status of I don't know, fresh air, something like that.
Okay.
It might have been nice earlier. Now I'm high
Well,
fighting a minotaur.
You guys are impatient, so
I'm
only
not.
so much I can do.
Look, they threw me in.
Nobody threw you in. You walked in.
Threw me
And
in.
ran off like a little child.
So now the air seems to sway in front of Blanche as she steps forward towards this door. Mike pulls his bandana tightly across his nose, katana still resting on his back. You both step towards this hallway that leads to the unknown. There's dense smoke for all you can hear. What would you like to do?
I'm keeping the yarn in the bag so that it just kind of unravels itself as we go.
Okay.
And the bag is on my arm, and I'm just trying to make my way in. We need to figure out where William went, so.
Okay.
No, that won't be hard. Just listening for the screaming and the yelling and the running.
Who goes in
And-
first?
She was in first.
That would be me. I've got the yarn.
You reach your hand ahead and begin to walk slowly. At first, the smoke almost feels inviting. Again, it feels like a warm steam shower. You step in a bit further. You take a deep breath. As you make your way in, I'm going to need you to face danger to avoid the influences of the smoke. You do have the ability to add your status on top of any other power tags you're going to use to avoid the influences of the smoke.
Okay. How do I add a status to the roll?
So on the bottom of each status card, there should be a plus and a minus symbol. So if you hit the plus, it should add that automatically on the power tag or the power up top.
Cool. Oh, it would help if I reset everything before I did that, huh? Don't think I really have anything else. So.
You can do it. It's okay.
Well, this is face danger.
That's correct. Yep. So it's going
Told you.
perfect. So you step in, and you notice that, well, the scent isn't as strong as you had expected to be. It makes your eyes water a little bit, but as far as the smell, it seems to fade. You have those moments where just like a fresh breeze just blows past your nose. You have that nice kind of clean smell. You still have the small taste of, again, the sweet kind of that metal aftertaste, but you walk into this hallway. You can see it a bit clearer now that you're in here. There's a lantern to your right about 5 feet and a lantern to your left about 5 feet, and you find yourself staring at the back of a constable. There's a spike that has gone straight through your head, and you find yourself standing only a few feet away from him. It almost appears to almost jump out at you. As that sight, as gruesome as it is, you look down just to see, okay, am I still attached? You turn around to see if you can still see the door. The door's no longer there, but you can see the string, the ball of yarn. It's smaller than it was before. It seems to trail off down a hallway and down to the right, but you can't quite see how far down it goes, where it's going. What do you want to do?
That's not comforting. Can I do like an investigation to look for signs of where William might have gone?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
So you kind of step aside of the corpse in front of you, and you kind of look for signs to see, okay, where did someone else go from here?
Should have left arrows and blood.
So, explain exactly how you're stooping over to look for signs.
I'm not really stooping over to look for anything at the moment. I'm just sort of taking a sweeping look of the area, probably reaching out and touching things occasionally on the off chance I get like a premonition. Sorry, Stilts' cough became contagious.
I'm sorry.
Just generally looking for any signs that somebody may have come through, whether it's, boot prints on the ground or blood spatter that looks like it's got a trail to it, and anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna do patience and cunning because this is definitely a stop and see kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I'm gonna say.
and-
Oh, go ahead.
Hmm?
Go ahead. I'll add mine after you add yours.
Okay. And I was gonna tap See Beyond the Mist.
Okay.
In case there's anything here like an illusion that might be trying to hide things from us.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of want to tap the prone to self-doubt weakness tag.
Okay.
Because she's definitely in a situation she never would have figured she'd be in before.
So we do have 3 story tags as well. One of those being dense smoke. I'm going to say that does play a negative here, just because you would have to travel even further away from where you are now to get deeper clues. So it kind of is playing a difficulty between your closer investigation.
Okay, so that's a minus.
Mm-hmm. But definitely add an attention to your prone to self-doubt.
Okay. So it's all breaking even. This
All
will
right.
be awesome.
So all of my rolls have been.
It says the 15.
Yeah, I never said
Holy
it was
cow.
bad.
All right.
Yeah.
So you still get one question. You're still doing the investigate. So your question is, can you tell which way William went? Yeah, you can, because you can see the signs of blood where someone was pounding on the wall, and every once in a while like nicked their finger. Appears to go off on the left hand side, but you can see a trail that you should be able to follow for a ways. Mike,
Gee,
go ahead.
it's almost like I left a trail in blood on purpose.
I know.
Yay.
Mike, you see Blanche kind of enter. For a moment, you feel or you see the yarn almost go tight, almost like shoot up from the ground, but then it falls down again back to the ground. What would you like to do now that both of your or two of your companions have entered into this place?
Well, I was just gonna follow in behind her.
Okay,
Just
so
with my hand just grasping the yarn, just following it.
yeah, as you enter, like that's when you feel it go tight, and you kind of take your step in as well, and that's when it kind of falls loose. And again, you come across this scene, only a few feet away from this the sergeant that has died from entering. You can see Blanche is kind of closer to the wall on the left-hand side, looking at something, kind of studying something closely, and she has a bag that the yarn seems to trail. You look over to your right-hand side, and you can see that this yarn carries off down the hallway and seems to jut off to the right. But I will need you to face danger as well, as you have to take your first breath within these hallways, and the smoke begins to affect you. I believe you still have the story tag of your mask, so you can give that one. I don't believe your current statuses of katana or gut punching will be an issue with this one. So, yeah.
Come join me in being high.
No, I'm not getting high. I'm a garbage collector who is committed to his job.
Come get high with me.
Not breathing deeply is one of my many strong suits.
Yeah? I like
You
it.
don't have a tag for that, so you're gonna get high with me.
Yeah, he does.
I do.
No, you don't.
I have
Okay.
tags for both of those.
I've taken it away from you.
You've burned his tag? Oh, that's not nice.
I've burned 3 of his tags. I used my hurt point on Mike. No, I don't have any of those.
Why did
Mike's the only one I have positives for. Ooh, Henry Cavill's gonna play Geralt of Rivia.
Mm-hmm.
Fancy.
I'm not sure why mask is not plussing when I hit the plus, but we'll just do it manually. Okay. Face danger.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you go, to try to take a shallow breath, but a bit of it still enters your lungs, and you find your mind begin to wander just a bit. You take a tier 1 mental trip as the light becomes a bit more appealing. It's not just orange, it's shades of red and yellow and orange, and all seems to be bouncing. And the smell, it doesn't smell as bitter anymore. It smells a bit more sweet, a bit more lovely. William, you
Ah,
have just avoided a canister of more potent smoke. And it seems that the man that lives within this labyrinth wishes for you to chase him. What do you want to do?
Dad, you know what? No. No, I'm just gonna kind of sit.
Okay.
I don't care. I'm already high enough. I'm just gonna sit there. I don't care.
You
I assume I find a chair or something. If there's no chair, I'll lean against.
Oh
the
no, there's no
non-spiky
chairs.
wall.
It's dirt.
Oh, well then I'll lean against the
crummy
wall
walls.
then. I'm not gonna sit into the smoke.
Okay. You begin to sit there for a moment. You listen for the sounds of foot patterns begin to run further and further away, and kind of catch your breath for a bit, kind of realizing, this isn't all that bad. Begins to smell a bit more sweet. But there's a rumbling in your stomach. Deep rumbling in your stomach, and kind of take a deep breath and feel like you can smell. It's not just this man or even the other man before. There's other living things within these walls. And that part of you, that
Oh,
beast
no.
within you, it definitely feels like it could go for a meal.
There's nothing here that I want.
Stomach begins to almost groan and twist in agony. You feel yourself starting to kind of go against it a bit. You can almost begin to hear the soft heartbeats of maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 individuals within here. You know
Oh,
that with
no.
a bit more power, you might be able to conquer this man. Do you
No.
resist?
Of course I do. No, I can't. I can't eat people. I
Awesome.
have to resist.
So I feel like you're definitely getting close to a finally some answers move. I can't force you to do that, but I definitely feel like this might give you an opportunity to do so. Your question is, how do I get control of my lust for blood? I feel like you are challenging yourself to try to do that. So, do you feel like you're making that move?
I do.
I'm gonna have you face danger
Mm-hmm.
to withstand the need to feed.
See, do I have any tags that'll let me do that? I have my indomitable tag. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That'll help. I
Mhm.
have an indomitable spirit.
I think part of your humanity as well, right?
Yeah, I was gonna go with like history teacher because that's the side that doesn't want to eat people for a living.
And in a way, I feel like your mental trip status is actually a positive for this. Because I think, again, that is affecting you as a person, not necessarily the beast inside.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it might just be enough of a distraction.
And can I rely on my loving wife as well?
Yeah, you like try to focus on her face
Yeah.
and the recent news. Like, you can be better than what you are. Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's a face danger?
Correct. Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah, you take a deep breath again, not caring what the smoke has to offer, and you feel like you are gaining some control there. So you have the option. When you find answers to your mystery, you can choose 1, 2, or all 3. So you can either gain a deeper understanding of your mythos, of the subject of your mythos, or of your mystery, or the link between your mystery and your mythos. Mark attention on the theme to which this mystery belongs. You are shocked by the discovery to the point of rejecting your mythos or an aspect of your ordinary life. Mark fade or crack on any theme. Or your questions are answered. Choose a new mystery on this theme. As you take a deep breath, you notice that it's not just humans in here. There's also rodents. And just as you kind of open your eyes, you see that there's a rat. It's a pretty decent sized rat. It's just out of hand's reach. And the same kind of sense that you had towards the human and their heartbeat, their taste for blood, you begin to feel is available within that beast as well.
What was it that I'm gonna eat the rat, but what was the first thing you said about
You can mark attention to your theme.
yeah.
And if you
I
feel
don't-
like the discovery of, you need to eat beasts
also
instead
rewrite
of
my-
humans.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with gonna rewrite this thing on what other objects can satisfy the hunger.
Okay. What else will satisfy this hunger? I like it. Or do you feel? I feel like you have that question answered, right? Because, obviously you can eat if you feast on animals.
Oh, yeah.
But maybe it's more of how can I permanently sate this hunger, or something like that.
Yeah. Wow. Good thing it has autocorrect because I can't spell. Yeah. Not emoji. That's not. I don't want emoji. Why do you get emoji out of satisfy?
So, William, as you open your eyes, you see this rat there. You take it, and I think there's a moment of hesitation of what is this going to be like. You fed on a horse before, but that's a horse. This might be a bit different.
Yeah.
But you
you weren't there for that. I ate a horse. It was fun.
sink your fangs into it, and you feel the warmth of the blood. You feel the draw of the life that is now in your hands. With a single move, you could end it, or you can allow it to stay there to withstand for a while. You control the last few moments of this creature. The taste, it's not as sweet. It's a bit more bitter. It's going from a nice, solid, home brewed beer to, a completely watered down, cheap, swill. But you can feel the sustenance still there. You can feel like this could work. Go ahead and change the game for me with anything that you use to kind of invigorate yourself, to give yourself more powers. And then if you wish to give yourself a story tag or a status that kind of reflects any additional strengths or abilities you have from feasting, we can do that.
As Spoon said that I ate a horse, and you weren't there for that. I just imagined him looking down at the rat as he's about to grab it, saying that.
He is pretty tripped out right now.
I'm gonna use super speed to catch that rat there.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, and then I'm gonna use Indomitable, which I lean on a lot. It's gonna basically, steel myself for the taste of a nasty rat.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe not. And that'll be... yeah, I think that'll be it.
Okay.
And then it's a...
Change the game.
Change the game, change the game.
What the...
Okay.
Alright, sure, whatever.
As you
I was gonna
take
let the
a
rat
deep
go, but I guess
bite into this rat that has been soaking in the smoke and all of the lovely just releases of this place, you still find yourself to be well fed, but you take an additional status of mental trip, pushing it to mental trip 3.
How much well fed am I?
You feel well fed enough that it's not going to be an issue for a while.
So just one status of well fed.
Go ahead and give you do a story tag well fed. I think that will fit for now.
Okay.
It's not necessarily ongoing.
I switched it to a story tag. There we go.
So your eyes dilate a bit more, your breath becomes a bit more rapid as your whole body, it kind of morphs. There's also this weird grin, and you kind of lean back against the back wall as you just soak in all of the rat that you can, just like a juice box. As we fade away from there, Blanche, you are following this blood trail. And maybe it's just that momentary glimpse that you had past the mist. You start to feel like there is something coming. There's something coming, and it's coming towards you.
I'm going to pause and kind of step back and behind Mike.
Okay.
Something's coming this way.
You think Mike's gonna help?
He's much bigger than I am. I'm turning him into a human wall.
That's usually what he does, anyways. How the? Why
Mike,
aren't
what do you do?
plugging in?
As she basically pushes me in front of her, I'm going to, with my left hand, pull plenty of string out from her, like a good, 10, 15 foot out from her satchel and kind of just wrap it around me
Okay.
in a way.
It's a
And
lot of
then
string.
just kind of, well, not like the whole thing around me. It's more like giving myself distance. Come on.
It's a lot of string, mate.
And then I'll kind of walk a couple of paces forward.
What's your intention with the string? I want to see if this is requiring a story tag or not.
Oh no, I'm wanting to have enough space to be able to put some distance between me and her to allow myself the time to assess the threat first.
Okay. You make your way around the corner, and everything seems to just kind of look the same. There's a hallway that goes straight down, one to the left, another one to the left, down a bit further to the right, diagonal. You can feel it as well. The ground feels like it's starting to shake.
With the ground shaking, I'm getting closer to him. I'm not letting him get that far from me. This seems like a terrible idea.
This
You,
game is built on terrible ideas.
you both kind of stand there again. You feel this thumping. Doo, 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 doo. Feels like pounding a jackhammer is making its way through these different halls. Mike, you see the walls begin to almost morph and twist, almost like a snake. They're no longer straight and rigid. They seem to just move, almost like they're trying to turn to meet something.
Well, since she is not giving me my distance, I'm going to undo one of my suspenders and loop the rope through it, or the twine through it,
Mm-hmm.
and clip my suspenders back in. So that way, there's no way I can lose the string, as I'm going to plant my right leg back and my left leg forward.
Okay. You're trying to basically make a wall.
I mean, in a sense, the corridor's not that big, right?
It's not, no. Okay. I feel like this is definitely giving yourself some juice to apply to whatever's going to happen next. So let's go ahead and change the game to describe kind of the tags you're going to use to see how much juice you will get to apply to whatever's about to happen. And as he's, clearly kind of making himself bigger, planting his feet, kind of giving a bit of distance, you have a moment to prepare as well. Blanche, is there anything you're doing while he makes this roll?
Well, considering the suspicion that we're dealing with a Minotaur and her mythos's tendencies, can she prepare a sleep spell? So that if this is the Minotaur, she can knock it out. Or try to, anyway. Sleep or disorient.
I feel like that could be a possibility, but is this something she's ever done before?
No.
Or is this using your powers in a new and never before seen way?
I don't think she's ever tried to put something to sleep before.
Okay.
This is an
What,
oh
no
god,
kid?
what do I do?
So
She's not married.
I think what we could definitely do here is a stop holding back move to cast a sleep spell on whatever's going to approach. I don't think this is going to be anything more than a significant cost. So there's 3 tiers of cost, and basically we'll read through this whole move. When you use your powers in a new and never before seen way or scale, tell the MC what you hope to achieve. The MC will tell you the sacrifice it will take from you. Then you roll plus logos. On a hit, you achieve exactly what you wanted to achieve and pay the price. For a significant cost, on a 7 to 9, you would mark Fade and Crack and burn all the power tags on one theme. On a 10 plus, you would mark Fade or Crack on one theme. For no return, on a 7 to 9, you would replace one theme. On a 10 plus, you mark Fade and Crack and burn all the power tags on one theme. And for an ultimate cost, on a 7 to 9, you are killed, destroyed, or transformed forever, for now. Take a tier 6 status. You cannot face danger. On a 10 plus, replace one theme. Obviously, we are not that insane. You're just trying to do a sleep spell on something in here. So we'll say it's a significant. So this means you will go through, you're not going to actually roll any tags. You're going to roll how many Logos themes you have. I believe that's 2?
2.
So it'll be 2d6 plus 2. So you are trying to basically have a sleep spell available that will cause whatever is about to make its way down here to fall asleep. That'll basically be what you're going for. So if you hit, then you get that. You're able to summon and then cast a sleep spell, causing whatever it is to fall asleep. If you get a 7 to 9, you would then mark Fade and Crack, or Fade or Crack, and burn all power tags for that theme. So that would just mean you're basically using so much of that you're almost like overblowing it. You know, you're putting too much power into it. You are able to replace those power tags by rest or recuperation, those kinds of things. And you are able to actually remove Fade and Crack as well by going through and learning some details about your game or even leveling up as well. So, do you feel like that's what... You have the option, you don't have to do that now. You could still do kind of a minor thing. I'm willing to say if you want to just have a minor spell, sure, we could do that. But if you want to actually have something that if you hit, it will absolutely put whatever is charging down at you asleep, then we do stop holding back. If you want to do something that's a bit more minor, that may or may not affect whatever's coming down here, depending on their abilities, we could do the change of the game. So I'll kind of leave that up to you.
Okay. I don't want to risk an entire theme. So could I do something to maybe disorient it? Instead of just putting it to sleep, make it a little bit less steady, so that as Mike deals with it, he stands a better chance.
Okay, so maybe you're kind of messing with the ground a bit or something like that. So, or
yeah,
is
it's already obvious that this place could be morphed and shaped to whatever it is will. So maybe I can tap into it and make some changes of my own.
Yeah, so you're trying to get them to stumble or slow down. Do you feel like this is more making the ground, like broken terrain, casting ice to make it slick?
Let's go with... I don't want to make it broken or slick, but I want to make it move as it's passing over it, so his feet never quite... You know what I mean? Like if
So it's like he runs onto a treadmill kind of thing.
Yeah, something like that. And I want to make the walls look slightly different, because it's pretty obvious to me that this place is changing at his command and his whim. So I kind of want to screw with him and make it seem like it's not quite changing the way he wants. And hopefully that'll be a distraction.
That sounds good. So yeah, let's
Screw
go ahead
with the
and
evil being.
go ahead and do that.
Cast magic spells. Patience and cunning. And since I'm messing with the area around me, could I tap stability?
Yeah. Have to make sure you're safe.
And this is a change the game?
Correct. Yep, you're trying to create a advantage, basically. Okay. So we could definitely go ahead. What kind of status are you applying to the ground then, do you think? Intense movement? I guess we could just say it's disorientation, something like that.
Yeah, that's what I was... Yeah, disorientation.
So Mike, as you... Let's see, did you make your move? You haven't made your move yet. So Mike, go ahead and make your move to stand your ground as well. You hear, Blanche, is this another kind of dust-based thing, or how do you actually cast this spell onto the ground in front of you?
This one is just focusing, like looking very firmly at what she's doing,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not an illusion, it's her physically having to change something, and just muttering under her breath.
Mm-hmm. So you hear that go
And
on behind you,
And
Mike.
then the yeah.
And you see the ground, it almost seems to start moving like a river, you know? It doesn't seem to lose its solidity, but the rocks and the stones seem to start kind of moving back and forth. Go ahead and roll your change of game to give yourself some juice to take position as well.
Oh,
Mike took too long, and now Thomas is here. Still don't even know what the last one was for.
Which thing was I supposed to do?
Change the game. You're trying to create an advantage to, block Blanche from any danger, kind of protect yourself, put yourself in a big place.
Really the only thing would be astrophysical to kind of make myself kind of seem to shift
Okay.
rapidly. Kind of like what I was doing with the other guy out in the alley.
Or you could just make a bunch of you.
Okay, perfect. So you have one juice to you can create your own status of like solid, or but I don't know what you would call it, in place.
Planted.
Something like that, planted.
defensive position.
So
Human meat.
What tier? Just one?
yeah, so with your power of 1,
Okay.
give yourself a tier 1 planted status. So here's what happens. You cast a spell, the ground begins to move, and you both start looking kind of down that tunnel. And at first, you expect there to be a solid shape, but it's not solid that comes out of you. It's almost a flash, a blur. And then there's someone stumbling and bumbling and hitting against the wall and falling in front of you. It's not actually just one person, it's two. Mike, you can recognize after a moment that this is Shin Lim. He had someone carried over his shoulder that he has now just dropped and slid towards you. Resting at your feet is a boy, maybe about 24 years old. He's skinny. He's got a round face, beady eyes. He's still fairly clean shaven. His clothes appear to have been nice at some point, but they're now just covered in mud and blood and other fluids to the point that they're basically just brown. He's missing a shoe. One foot has a tall sock with a hole in the toe. You would recognize him from the image you had seen at the Bexley home. This is Hans. Up against the wall behind him, standing maybe 2 or 3 feet, Shen Lim. Stumbling, he lost his balance. It still seems he's not able to see all that well. And just as he looks towards you, he hears something and turns around. Coming from the same tunnel is a man, a large man, barrel-chested, long oily hair. The ground shakes around him, and he begins to make his way down this hallway. And with that, the screen fades, and credits roll.
Oh,
So I would like to thank all 3 of you for playing. I definitely had fun. Hope you did as well. Hopefully next week we will all be feeling much better, and bring our full voices back to the game. I know mine is quickly fading away. But for anybody that happens to be
Yeah,
watching
gotta
out there,
rest
if you're at all interested in joining this game or any of our other games, make sure to join our Discord. We have quite a few games that are going to be running. And again, thank you, Spoon, Phazon, and Bloodied for your time tonight. We will all see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.